staff recommendation really should be, and it may seem like a fine point, but it's significant, to begin the process to exploring abandoning the historic policies and putting in the new policies. In order to actually make the changes, we'd have to adopt ordinances and do all sorts of other things. So tonight, you can't take final action on actually installing such a policies. All you would be doing, if you wish, is go ahead and tell us to begin the process.
Of changing, not necessarily.
Of changing.
The city's historical use policies, okay.
Right, and that would be changes to ordinances and other things, and that could well involve environmental review and all the rest.
So conceptual, or it's basically a conceptual review.
Exactly.
I mean, I get the UCSB Arts and Events Bulletin. I'm not going to go to Isla Vista on a weeknight, and they start at 7:30 or 8. At my age or whatever, I'm unwilling to drive to Isla Vista. Number one, I would really like to see that if we did go that route, just like Campbell Hall does in UCSB, that for City of Ojai residents, they would become like the students at UCSB, where our population could benefit from having these wonderful cultural events available because they would get the, quote, student discount on tickets. So I know like many times a ticket might be $25 or $30, but if you're a student at UCSB, i.e. a resident of the City of Ojai, your ticket would be $15.
We have to remember that we just spent over $100,000 to sell Ojai to people to come midweek. Suza, you're up.
I want to remind you of two things that you don't need to be reminded of. There's just a very small, narrow road that leads into Ojai. And as much as I also want to move forward, I'm well aware there are many projects that were before the council when I served that are still not done, including the skate park, the bicycle pedestrian master plan. And the other thing I want to remind you of, everything is connected. So if you go forward with this plan, I hope that gives you more impetus to go forward with alternative transportation. And I think the local residents coming home from work midweek will appreciate that. The other thing is that I do consider it very unfortunate how this was worded. And next time when something is worded in a way where it sounds like a done deal, because if you word, I want to express my support for what Councilwoman Betsy Klaif said, because the wording of this made it sound like you were going to make this huge decision tonight. And I appreciate very much that Monty Withers pointed out that that's not the case, but the wording gives a different impression. It would be good to point that out from the beginning before all of us get all excited. Thank you very much.
Klaif.
Leonard Klaif, 412 North Fulton Street. I too was quite alarmed by staff report, and I think it was Mr. Kersnar's and perhaps Mr. Withers as well. Thing at the end about this is just the start doesn't change the clear position of staff, which is that we have to change. And I found it to be very frightening. I have financially contributed to the cost, $20,000 a year for maintenance and so much more for sort of at day-to-day upkeep. That more or less is the same as it has been. To use the renovation as an excuse to change the policy is disingenuous. We just spent $800,000 of city money because we didn't put away $20,000 a year. That may have been foolish, but it's not costing us any more to maintain the new bowl than it should have cost us, or is now costing us all at once to maintain and the old bowl. That we're going to be able to limit the number of events. Once you start, I don't know that we're going to be able to limit them. In addition, the $20,000 for maintaining the current use of the bowl will skyrocket once you start hiring general managers and programmers and technicians and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, there's got to be some kind of better estimate than we now have about what the costs will be to maintain a commercial venue. Carol, I too get the UCSB things, and although I think I'm older than you, or close, I still go up to UCSB. Maybe we can carpool sometime if we find something we both want to see. I'll be happy to drive. But I believe those student ticket fees are subsidized by money from the university, student activity fees. They get grants from all sorts of foundations. The cost of those kinds of performances in a 1,500-seat venue, you're talking $50, $75, $100 a ticket, unless somebody's going to subsidize it, and it clearly can't be the city of Ojai. So, we certainly need, like as was said before, the way the report was worded was very frightening. That's clearly the city, the staff's intent, and I think public hearings need to be held. Thank you for allowing me to go over a couple seconds.
Anybody else like to speak? Sure, come on up.
Good evening. My name is Keith Hoyt. I think if I were a member of the Libbey family and I were here tonight, perhaps I'd be concerned about what is going on. It sounds like they had some deliberate intentions originally, and it sounds like we're talking about variations from that.